Hey, my name's Kevin, and welcome to our next installment of chord formulas. Today we're going to check out minor chords. In our first lesson, we checked out major chords and the formula that goes along with that. But for minor chords, there's a new formula to learn, but it all still relates back to the major scale. So get yourself tuned up, and let's have some fun with chord formulas. Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and click that alert bell so you know when the next video is coming your way. If you're interested in more learning resources, head over to AllForUke.com where we have a full searchable library of songs, song sheets, practice tracks, worksheets, and more. All for you, AllForUke.com. All right, so the cool thing about minor chords is we're still going to use the major scale to figure out the formula. So in today's example, we're going to start with the D major scale again, which we did with the major chords, but let's just quickly review that scale. So we're going to start here on the 2nd fret. We have our first note, which is D. We call that our root. Our second note is E. That's our second note. Then we move down to our 3rd here, which is F sharp. Our 4th, which is G. Our 5th is A. Our 6th is B. Our 7th is C sharp, and we get back to our root here, which is D. So let's check that out on the piano, and then we're going to talk about this minor formula that we use. All right, now another quick review of our D major scale here on the piano. Good visualization tool here, so we're going to start with our D note with our thumb. That's our root. We have our 2nd, which is E. Move up here to F sharp on the black key here. That's our 3rd. Over to the G note for our 4th. Our 5th is A. Our 6th is B. And then C sharp here, another black key, is our 7th. And then we move back to our root, which is D. So with a minor chord, we are going to use the formula 1, flat 3, and 5. So when we did the major chord, we had our 1st, which is D, our 3rd, which is F sharp, and our 5th, which is A. So that makes up a major chord. But when we are going to use a minor chord, we flat that 3rd note. So what that means is we're going to take it down by a half step. So when we're talking about piano, that just means we move down by 1/2 or a semitone, so from the black key to the white key right next to it. So instead of playing D, F sharp, and A, we play D, F, and A. So listen to the difference between these two chords here. So we have D major, which is D, F sharp, A, and D minor, which is D, F, and A. And you can hear that kind of somberness come out of that chord as soon as you move from major to minor. And that all happens just moving one note by a half step. So pretty cool stuff. We'll take a look at that now on the uke, and I'll show you how that works on there as well. So remember the formula: 1, flat 3, and 5 for your minor chord. That's a D minor. All right, so now that we know our minor chord formula is 1, flat 3, and 5, let's check out some D minor chord shapes here so we can go through and diagram these chords and check out and see where the notes lay. So the first D minor chord that you've probably come across is right here on the first 2 frets. So I use middle finger, 2nd fret of the G string, ring finger, C string of the 2nd fret, index on the E string, 1st fret, and then an open A string. So if we go through this chord now, let's check out the notes here. So we go to our 2nd fret, so we have G, G sharp, A. So we know that A is going to be our 5th. So the top string is playing the 5th. We move here from the C string for our 2nd note. We have C, C sharp, D. That is the root of our chord. So now we know we have the 5th, the root, and then we go down here to the E string. If we look at that, we're going to go E to the 1st fret. There's our F. There's our flat 3rd. So I want to explain this a little bit more here because our flat 3rd is right next to our regular 3rd. So we have that major 3rd there, which is on the 2nd fret. And if you remember, when we play a D major chord, it looks like this and sounds very major. If we take this one note that we're playing with our pinky on the E string and move it down to the first fret, we have flatted the third. We moved down by one semitone or one fret. So we went from D major to D minor. That's a really good way to kind of hear the difference between the two chords and see the difference between that major third and the flat third. So there's our third, and then our open A string again is just going to be the fifth, which is a duplicate of the fifth that we're playing on the G string. So we have the fifth, the root, the flat third, and again the fifth for this D minor shape. Now we can move up a little bit here on the register up to the 7th fret. So we're going to play our ring finger on the 7th fret of the G string, and then we're going to bar the bottom 3 strings on the 5th fret. So here's another common D minor shape that you might come across. But this one has the notes in a little different order than we did from our first shape. So if you look at this shape here, we climb up the fretboard here. We have G, A, B, C, D. So our 7th fret now, our G string is playing the root of this chord. So the root moved from the C string to the G string for this shape. So we have our root. Then here on the C string we have C, D, E, F. And then we have our E string here. We go E, F, G, A when we hit the 5th fret there. So that is our 5th. So now we have our root, our third, or our flat third rather, our 5th, and then here on the bottom string, the A string, we have A, B, C, D. So that's just a duplicate of our root note. So the notes here for this shape are D, F, A, and D. Pretty cool stuff. All right, so let's check out our third shape here for D minor. So for this shape, I place my ring finger on the 10th fret of the G string, my middle finger on the 9th fret of the C string, my pinky is going to be on the E string of the 10th fret, and my index finger will be on the 8th fret of the A string. So that one sounds like this. Nice little high register, good for a finger picking little thing up here. And when we go through and diagram the notes on this one, we have our F note here on the G string, because we're on the 10th fret. So our F note again is our flat third. So we have our flat third now on the top string. The second note we have is our A note, which is on the C string here. So we know A is our 5th. Now we need our root. So that's going to have to be here on our E or A string, and we find that it is on the 10th fret. If we climb up here from the open E string, we go E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So when we hit that 10th fret, now we're playing our root note. So the root has moved in each of these chord shapes. It's never been in the same place. So it's on a different string here. It's on the E string. And then finally, we're just going to duplicate our F note, which is our flat third, and that's going to be played here on the 8th fret, because we have A, B, C, D, E, F, and there's our flat third. So again, you can see that we have the root, the flat third, and the 5th for all of these minor chords. And I'll play all 3 of them so you can kind of hear how they sound different. Pretty cool stuff. So now knowing this, you have some options for different D minor chords to play, and you kind of can see that the formulas all relate to these chords, but they just kind of move the numbers around on the string. So that's our first one, D minor. Now let's check out an E minor chord. If you're digging the sound of my uke, head over to allforuke.com/shop. You can have a Kali ukulele for yourself. When you buy your Kali ukulele through AllForUke, you're supporting us, and we really appreciate it. Make sure you check it out. Concerts, sopranos, tenors, baritones, a wide selection of accessories, capos, and more. All for you, allforuke.com/shop. So another common minor chord that I thought would be cool to diagram is the E minor chord. So when we're looking at an E minor chord, we need to look at the E scale. So we're going to go to the E major scale here. So for the E major scale, we start on our 4th fret, which is the C string 4th fret, so we have that E note there. There is our root. And if we follow the formula here for the major scale, we go up a whole step, and we have F sharp on the 6th fret, and then we move down here to the 4th fret of the E string and play G sharp. 5th fret of the E string is an A, and that's going to be our 5th. Nope, that's not going to be our 5th, that's going to be our 4th. And then we're going to go up here to our 5th, which is B. And then we go to our 6th, which is C sharp, 4th fret of the A string. And then we go to the 6th fret of the A string, which is D sharp. And that's going to be our 7th. And then we finish it off here with our root. So that scale, we have E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and we're back to our root. All right, let's take a look at this now on the piano. So we know that E is right here. That's going to be our root. So the 2nd, again, is F sharp. We have that up there on the black key. Our 3rd, this is the important note here, is the G sharp. So we have root, 2nd, 3rd, which is G sharp. Our 4th is A. 5th is B, our 6th is C sharp, our 7th is D sharp, and then we're back here to E, which is our root. So that E major scale. Now, let's take out our root 3rd and 5th. So we know our root here, that's our E. We go up to our 2nd and our 3rd, which is the G sharp, and then we go A, B for our 5th. So we have our root, our 3rd, and our 5th. Well, we know that would be an E major chord. So we need to apply this formula. So we're going to flat that 3rd note, which is our G sharp, and we're just going to move that down by 1 semitone, and that takes us down to our G natural. So we have, for the minor chord, for E minor, we have E, G, and B. And you can hear the difference there. If I go from my major again, if I make that a minor, I'm just going to do that flat 3rd, and you can hear that E major become an E minor chord. So the first shape that you usually come across here for an E minor chord looks like this. So I have an open G string on top, ring finger on the 4th fret of the C string, middle finger on the 3rd fret of the E string, and my index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. So there's my E minor shape. Now if we take this apart, we need to find our root, our flat 3rd, and our 5th. So let's start with the open string on top here. That's our G. Well, we know that if we go E, F sharp, G sharp, and flat that G sharp down, there is our G note, and that is our flat 3rd. So our flat 3rd is here on the open string. And then we go down to our ring finger here on the 4th fret. If we climb up from the C string open, we have C, D, E. So there's our root note. So we have our flat 3rd, our root. And then we move over here to the E string. If we go E, F, aha, on that 3rd fret, I found another G note, another flat 3rd. So we have our flat 3rd, root, flat 3rd, and then we need our 5th still to complete the minor chord shape here. So we have our A string, and we go A sharp, B, and that makes it a minor chord because we have our root, our flat 3rd, and our 5th. We have the E, G, and B notes. So if you take that one apart, there's your minor shape. So another common E minor shape that we have is up here on the 9th fret. So with my ring finger on the 9th fret of the G string, and then barring the bottom 3 strings on the 7th fret, and that looks like this. Little different sound than this. Little higher register, pretty cool. So let's take a look at the notes here. So we have on our 9th fret, if we go up, we have G, A, B, C, D, E. So our root now is on the G string, so we have that E note there. And then on our C string, we have C, D, E, F, G, and that we know is our flat third. So we have our root, our flat third, and then let's find out what's on the 7th fret of the E string. We have E, F, G, A, B. So with these 3 notes here, we can actually have our full minor chord. We have our root, our flat third, and 5th. So that's pretty cool. And then down here on the A string, I have a feeling it's going to be a duplicate of the note that we already have. So we go up the A string, we have A, B flat, C, D, and E, which is just another root here. So we have E, G, B, and E, and that makes up the shape here, using our root, flat third, and 5th. Now our final shape, because I don't want to get too far up the neck here, we're going to kind of take, and I'm just going to show you another E minor shape that's pretty close to the one we just did. So I'm going to keep the bar on the bottom 3 strings of the 7th fret, but I'm going to play that with my ring finger rather than my index finger. And with my index finger, I'm going to play the 4th fret of the G string. So the 3 notes that we did down here on the 7th fret will remain the same. Those are going to be G, B, and E. But the note I'm going to move here is going to be on the G string. So what that note becomes now is open G, A, and if we get to the 4th fret, that just becomes a B note. So all I've done now is I've duplicated the 5th. So we have B, G, B, and E. So we play that shape, and we have E minor. We also play this shape, and we have E minor. And we play this shape, and we have E minor. They all have the root, the flat third, and the 5th. So I challenge you to take some other minor shapes, and I put together a worksheet for this. I'll go through all of the minor chords where you can have a chance to diagram them, list out the notes, use the major scales. We'll have all the formulas in there so you can take apart all of the minor chords yourself. Well, thanks for watching. Next week, we're going to dive a little further into chords and check out another formula that you've come across many times, so make sure you look out for another video coming soon. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. My name's Kevin. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Let's get